Hi there boys and girls, hope everybody's having a really good Christmas and just a good holiday really. So, as the title says, I'm going to make some more of these. I got 3 with the lathe when I bought it, and the chap who sold me the lathe, he kindly found 2 more a week or so after I'd bought the machine, and he put them in the post to me, so then I ended up with 5, which made things a lot better. This one was given to me by a chap called Tim. Tim was watching the video of what would it have been? Oh, it would have been doing piston lights. Anyway, he sent me a message and said he had one of these in the shed. Would I like it? And, of course I said yeah. Sent me a little note. It says, "Hi Alan, hope this tool holder is of use." Yes it is mate, it fits a treat. Love the videos, hope you and your family have a good Christmas. All the best for the new year, regards Tim. PS, give the dog a scratch behind the ear from me. Well, he's been getting well looked after over Christmas, Tim. So, yeah, everything's going alright. I noticed in the comments there's a few questions about a surface grinder and where is it up to. Well, it's still working. I can't keep oil in the head though because it's leaking out of the front underneath where the spindle comes out. It's going to be a job that, you know, when I've got time we're going to have to pull it apart and see. I don't know if there's any seals in there or whether it's just phosphor bonds bearings that run together. When I was making the parts for that surface grinder for the hubs, a very nice chap called David Sykes, I think David's down in Norfolk, he very kindly he messaged me and he said he thought he had the manual for that particular surface grinder, the 540, Jones & Shipman 540, and he spent 2 days, bless him, digging it out, or digging everywhere around his shed to find it. Anyway, he found it and he posted me it, and I scanned it and I put it back in the post to David, and I hope he got it back alright. Unfortunately though, it doesn't cover my model. Mine surface grinder is the, like I say, it's a Jones & Shipman 540. It's got a counterweight on the back. I should say it's one of the first ones that was made. It's a bit of a shame about the oil leak because you can see these blocks here, look. I've just had these on the surface grinder. We'll get to that in a minute. But so the surface grinder is going and it's working well apart from the oil leak on the front. But like I say, it's just another job on the list, I'm afraid. So anyway, we'll get to that. Right, so thank you very much to David and Tim. I know there's a monetary value to these sort of things when when you give these away to somebody, and I really appreciate it. And the same with David sending me the book for the grinder. It's not the monetary value that gets me so much, it's just the thought that someone's prepared to go out of his way and not only find this in the shed, put it in a box, get it to the post office and send me it. I think it's a wonderful gesture, I really do. It's the thought of somebody doing that for me that it actually means more than the tool itself. So, once again, to Tim and to David, just thank you very much, lads. Really appreciate it. Right, so we'll get on to these. So, as I was saying, I've got 6 of these now. This is actually the one that Tim sent me. I've got some new cap screws to go in here to replace them. I made one to go in the top, I've just got to put hex on it. But I haven't got around to finishing it off yet. So I've got 6. With the Bantam lathe, I think I had about 20. So my plan was, well, I want to have about the same amount with this machine. On the floor behind me, I've got several pieces of this steel. As you can see, it's what it was 50mm plate. A very good friend of mine, an engineering company, Dave Grant Engineering in North Lincolnshire, he's got a profile cutter in his workshop, and he cut these sections out for me on the profiler, and not only is it left a clean finish for a profiler, they're actually pretty square, to be fair. So hopefully get 5 out of each one, so there's 15 there, 6 I've already got enter. So what my plan is, and it is just a plan, I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'm sure there'll be better ways, but hopefully someone will come up with some better ways as we're going along. I'll put this straight in the mill and clean the tops off, clean all the rust off, you know, all the way around. And I've got a little drawing of the size, so I'm doing them 1.580 wide. These are imperial measurements, by the way. So I've gone round the 6 I've got, and I've averaged out the measurements, and this is what I've come up with. So my plan is, like I say, get them cleaned up on the milling machine. I've got a 50mm face cutter in the mill at the moment, and I'm on my last 2 cutters for it. I've got this one, and this is a real good one, and I need to turn the inserts around in this, but I'm going to try and get this machine down to size with the one that's still in the milling machine, because this rust, it really does knock out the cutters. So like I was saying, there's my measurements, and what I'm doing, I'm machining to about 10 thou oversize, and that gives me a bit of cleanup on the surface grinder. Now if you're wondering why I'm going to the bother of surface grinding them, 2 reasons. One, it makes them look a bit better. Second reason, I can, and it's easier to put the block on the surface grinder and grind the whole lot in one go. And then what my plan is, when that's done, when I've got this one to this state, then we're going to set them up on the mill, and can we see? So this is the way they're going to be, look. We in frame there. So we're going to knock that middle piece out first. I have got a T-slot cutter somewhere. I've got to find it, and I'm feeling it's blunt as well. So I'm going to knock this slot out the middle all the way up, find the T-slot cutter and sharpen it if we have to, and then do that on all 3 of these blocks. Then I'm going to nod the head over on the milling machine to, I think these are 45 degree, and I'm going to machine the slots in, you know, all on one side. Hopefully what I'm trying to do is get all this work done on the back while they're all in one piece, but I think I may have to just keep an eye on this, because there's going to be a fair bit of stress in this steel, like all steel, and it may move. So I'll have to just keep an eye on it. If it does move significantly, I might have to cut these into smaller pieces. So I think you know what I mean, don't you? So that's all we're going to do with that. We'll get all that machined down the back. As for machining the slots out for where the tools are going to go, obviously you can see this is my threading tool, inverted. I think what I'm going to do is, as I decide which tools I'm going to put in each holder, I'm going to machine the slots to suit, because I would like to see if I can put, you know, if I had 2 of these with a piece of 1/2 inch high-speed steel in, so a left and a right-handed one, I want to see if I can cut that slot. I know I can cut it with a 10 degree rise, so that would give me the top relief on the cutter, but I want to see if I can cut it on a slight angle the other way as well, if that makes sense. So basically, maybe if I could get away with the high-speed steel in 2 of them and only have to grind the front, and all the other reliefs would be built into the tool holder. I might not be able to do it, but I'll have a look at that when we get that far. I've got a bag full of screws which I bought. Obviously there's going to be 15 or 16 of these nailed wheels to make as well. That's going to be a pain in the ass, but anyway. So we'll get this onto the onto the milling machine, and we'll start off with this one with the film. As you can see, I've already done 2. The end of my shed looks like a bomb's gone off down there, because there is just cuttings everywhere. I have to be careful because I'm a bit worried about a fire risk. So even when I finish, I'll sort of hang around in here for another half an hour or so, find something else to do, just to make sure the hot chips don't set anything on fire. So we'll get on the mill. And oh, one other thing. When I was thinking about doing this, I was thinking there's going to be an awful lot of milling to take all these, you know, machine all these angles out of here and whatever. And I was looking at an indexable milling cutter. Now, I spoke to a guy at Cutwell Tools, and I ended up plumping for this one. Now, we can turn the insert on there, and we've got 3 sides on each insert, 2 inserts obviously, and they've got quite a positive cut on them. Or I put it in the mill just to give it a quick whirl, and that was the finish that it came up. That was 100 thou deep, and that was, you know, tramming through it at a fair rate. I won't go quite so mad when we start on here, but I thought to myself that with this I can, you know, when the edges go, I can turn it round, other than having to keep buggering about sharpening another milling cutter to carry on with. Price wise, this tool with the 10 inserts that came with it was 120 quid. If you buy a 16mm carbide end mill, you know, a good quality one, I don't mean a bang good one, not that there's anything wrong with the bang good ones, you know, they're fine, I've got some and they work alright, but you know what I mean, from the someone like WNT or Dormer or whoever else that makes them, you'd be looking to pay that for one end mill, what I've bought this for. It is a bit too long, it wants cutting off there. I think it's about somewhere there, because it's a bit too long for my R8 tool holders. So I'll haze through there with a grinder, the slitting disc in, and then just tidy the end up, and we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping that it's going to go really well, and it'll serve as well. It came in its little box with some glue there, not glue, some like, it's like a grease type thing, and I'll put it on the threads of the screws, I presume that's what it's for. And it come with a spare screw as well. So, right, to the milling machine. Right, we've got it in. As you can see behind here, there is just piles and piles and piles of chips. There's just the floor's covered, everything's covered in. So we'll see in another about 2 days clearing up, I think. Right, we're going to run at 1000 RPM. Like I say, these tips on this particular cutter, they're on their last corner. So whether it'll last to do this piece, I don't know. So we'll go 1000 revs and we'll touch it off and pull off the side, and then I'll stick a 30 thou cut on and we'll see how that goes. That's just touching. I did also mean to apologise for the video quality on the last videos I did. I was in a rush doing them, and I never thought about having the camera mounted on the light on the lathe, and the vibration from the lathe, even though you can't feel it in your hand. The camera's so sensitive, it picks up anything. Same as when I stood it on the milling table. You know, you put your hand on here, you know, you can't feel anything hardly, but the camera picks it up no end like. That's taking a 30 thou pass off there, that's getting under the rust in one go. So what I shall end up doing is and I've got the sides pretty much cleared up, cleaned up, shall I say. I'll then machine them to size and then put them on the surface grinder. You can see all the rust. But those, that is a face mill from Banggood. I didn't buy any other inserts for it because I didn't know if it would be any good or not. That's cut no end of stuff, and it's been really, really good, to be honest. This is a fair bit to come on. I think there's about 10 mil, 5 mil either side off the top, and about 10. This one now I'm going to machine to its, I'm not going to take as much off this one. These tool holders will be a bit thicker that way. Cut off the front side, you might see a bit more. See if I can move the camera a bit when we get to the other side, if I can get you a bit better shot. Just peeling that off there, alright? If it'll focus, there you go. Get the idea anyway. I'll bring you back when I get a bit further along. See the rust it's fetching off, what the dust it's leaving behind. Take another 30 down. When the teeth are good in that, the inserts, it doesn't leave that burr. That's how I know it's not brilliant. What's that bit of steel? That's about 13 inch by 4 and a bit, 2 inches thick. But what those Banggood face mills cost, you'll struggle to beat them for the money. That particular cutter's done both those other ones and done all the other bits and bobs off machine with it in between. And I'm still on the same set of teeth in it, so I've got some more on order, but they won't be here for another week or two. Makes life a lot easier because I haven't got coolant on this machine. That means we can just carry on and mince it all away just using the carbide. See if I can find who sells them Scotch-Brite deburring wheels. You know, the sort that go on your bench grinder? There's going to be a lot of deburring on these tool holders when they're done. I don't fancy doing it over the file. There was another person I wanted to say thank you to, and I can't remember if I already have. If you watch Double Boost, you'll know who I'm on about. A chap called Bob Dickson. Now I sent Bob 2 back plunger DTIs. What else did I send him? And a couple of 10th DTIs and a 6-inch Starrett micrometer. Boy, did he do a good job. They came back absolutely spot on. I spoke to Bob a couple of times on the phone. He's exactly what you'd expect him to be, you know. Really, really nice lad. I'm still waiting to see the video with the back plunger. But if you've any DTIs that you want sorting out, he's the man to send them to. All the lenses was all polished up, looked like new. You know, done a really, really good job. Smooth as you like. Fantastic. If you watch this, Bob, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it. What I'm going to do here, I'll take one more pass down this side, and then that'll be. No, I'll take another pass after this. This will be 60 thou off it. I'll take about 90 off this side altogether, and then we'll flip it, machine this top surface here, square that up to that one, then flip it again and then square the bottom side to that side, and then lastly the other side. But as I square the bottom side to this, I'll machine it 10 thou over what I want, and I'll do the same with the 2 ends. So see how we get on. Steel as well, because he's the same tool holder as me. So he's going to make some, so we'll see we'll see how we do things slightly differently. It'll be quite interesting, that actually. If you're watching this, Rob, pull your finger out, boy, and get on with it. wash the file down with another, with some different software before I upload it. It can take 30 to 40 hours to upload that. I even cut the bit rate down to 2000. It's just ridiculously slow here. So the last ones I've done at 25-30 minutes didn't seem to be too bad. Anyway, you'll have to let me know what you think. Get that side cleaned up and then start on the other face. As I'm watching this, I've just realised I might get a couple of questions, like why didn't I take that in one cut? Well, that's because, like I say, I'm trying to make the inserts last a bit. And the other question might be, why am I always going pardon me, in the same direction? That's purely because I'm trying to keep the chip pile in one place. Then I'll have to stop soon because my son's just come. It's nearly tea time, so I might just see if I can get a quick look around the shop floor here and you'll see what I mean by there's chips everywhere. It's going to want just one more pass just to get underneath that. That's two sides done. Put a bit of bar under the back end there just to prop it up while I did that. Thanks Mr. Lipton. So I'll take that, that edge off there with a file and then we'll machine the opposite face to that next. But I think that that's going to have to do now because let's say sun's here and got to go in for tea. I should say I've got enough to go on this video now. Right, I'll see you in a bit. I just thought I'd give you a look at the state of the workshop. There's chips everywhere. This is down the back of the mill, look, down the back of the knee. It's all over, everywhere down there. They've just covered everything. All down, even up there onto the surface plate. As Mr. Double Boost would say, there's shite everywhere. So we'll leave it at that. I don't think I'll film the rest of it. What I'll maybe do is I'll start filming again when I'm taking the final cuts on this, just to get it to size, and then we'll have a bit of video, I think, on the surface grinder, just looking it into shape, and then we'll go from there. I don't think you need to see any more machining of the rusty sides, do you? So, unless you're struggling sleeping, that is. Right, see you later.